Okay. Hi, everyone. I am Jamie Aluisi. I am the digital librarian here at Odessa College. I basically live here in the LRC. So today what we're going to do is we're going to talk to you a little bit about resumes. I know you're thinking, oh yeah, that sounds fun. And yes, there's a lot of really boring stuff that goes into a resume, but they can also be cool too. It's a way for you to basically say, hey, this is the education I have, this is the work experience, these are my skills, let me show you my best qualities so I can get a job to either support myself or work in the career I want and things like that. So I'm going to go over with you a little bit about basically resume 101. Now, can you guys see my screen? Yes? No? Okay, cool. Okay. So the purpose of a resume is basically to get you an interview. We all like jobs and food and things, so our resume is our first impression, basically. It's a short descriptive document. It's supposed to be about 1 page. Don't go into really lengthy, short and concise, but still, try to be descriptive and unique in the words you use when you write it. Now, it's an account of work experience, education, qualification, objectives, personal qualities, and special skills. Now you're thinking, wow, that's a lot of information to put in 1 page. Don't worry, I'll explain how we do that. Okay, now there are different types of formats. Is there a question? Oh, no, just someone's mic. Okay, cool. Okay, resume formats. There's chronological, which focuses on work experience. Basically, it says from this year to this year, I had this job, these duties, this year to this year, so on and so forth. And that's great if you've been in a career for a while. If you're just starting out, that's not really going to be a lot, and you kind of want to do it a little different. So then you might want to do the functional. Now, the functional concentrates on general and specialized skills, and it can hide gaps between jobs. It can also be an opportunity for you to say, okay, maybe I haven't, like worked in a traditional way if you're just starting out, but you can say, hey, I learned these skills volunteering, or I had this part-time job, or I worked here at my school, or different things like that. You can show the different skills you have in a way that's still marketable without the list of like 5 or 6 different jobs you've had over, say, a 5 to 10 year period. Another way to do it is a combination. It brings together a little bit of both. From the reverse chronological, which is where you start newest to oldest, and then a functional where you say, okay, maybe there's some gaps, but here's all my skills. So if you've maybe had part-time jobs in high school, growing up, early in your adulthood, you can do that as well as include it with the, hey, these are my specialized skills. And there's different templates that you can use that can help you with that. And 2 of our writing tutors are on here, Sophia and Matthew, if you guys would wave. I don't know if everyone can see them. They are awesome. If you're saying, okay, how do I exactly word this? They'll help you come up with it. They'll walk you through it. They're great about, okay, here's your ideal, let's make it more concise. So definitely use our writing tutors if you get a chance when working on your resume. Now you're thinking, okay, that's still a lot of information. How do I format this? It's pretty easy. Again, 1 page is best. Use only one font. It's a lot of fun to do the fancy ones, get attention, and under certain circumstances that could work. But if you're just starting out and you want to, say, okay, this is my best effort, don't get really fancy. Focus on the information you're putting in your resume, not the fancy bells and whistles, because what looks good to you, someone else may be like, oh, wow, that's too much. And, it kind of pushes them away from your resume. So one font is best. Okay, font. Okay, sorry. Bold only the most important features like your name, education, jobs, skills. Do a main bold font and then, regular size font for everything under it. Don't bold everything. Don't have a sentence and bold one word in the sentence. Don't do that. It's going to scare people and it's just awkward to read. Also font size, 10, 11, or 12 point font. Try to keep it basic, obviously your name might be a little bigger, but one size font, basic one. Don't do like a 16, 17, 18 point font and you've got like 3 letters or 3 words on your resume. Doesn't quite look so great. Okay, be consistent with formatting features. If you're using bullet points, stick with bullet points throughout the resume. Don't do bullet points on one and then, maybe just indents or, things like that. So keep it consistent. Don't bounce around with different formatting aspects. Aim for neatness and readability. I know they're not flashy. I know they're not pretty. And you're thinking, wow, this one piece of paper with all this information is supposed to represent me. It's hard, I know. But neatness and readability, that's what's going to catch people's eye. If it's too busy, they're going to be like, ugh, I don't want to deal with this. And sometimes put it to the side. If you're neat, it's easy to read, that'll catch their eye and they'll be like, oh, okay, this person is organized. They can, figure out their thoughts clearly, and it presents a better, I guess, version of what you want them to look at when hiring you. Okay, is it professional looking and inviting to read? Again, like I just said, professional. Don't do the weird squirrely thing. Don't do wild, crazy backgrounds. Keep it professional. Okay, different sections of a resume. Personal info. Basically, your name and how to get a hold of you. If they don't know how to get a hold of you, you're not going to get a call back. I've actually seen resumes where there was a phone number called person, so they didn't get a call back. So make sure that you have your name and how to contact you. Make sure it's clear. And I'm going to repeat this again later, but your email address that they use to get in contact with you, make sure it's a professional email address. Don't have it be something that, is cutesy or overly creative. If you need one for just work and job applications, do that. But, if it's outlandish, just try to keep that off your resume. It doesn't necessarily present a good front with employers. Now, your objective. Basically, and I'll get to this in a second, your objective is what your goals are for your career, for your job search, for basically the next steps. And we'll get to more of that in a second. The summary. Some of you, if you're just starting out, the summary might not be something that you're going to have, but a summary is basically your key skills, the different areas you've focused on, kind of a, hey, this is my general qualification level, and then you go into everything. Again, short, sweet, and to the point. Now, education. Put your education in there, and we'll get to that some more in a second. Special skills. If you, know how to troubleshoot certain types of computers or fix printers, or if you have photography skills or, Photoshop, anything like that, special skills that, make you marketable or that, employers are looking for, put that in. It could be something as simple as, I know how to format a PDF. Some people that could be big, that could be something they're looking for. So look at the type of skills that they're asking for in different jobs, and if you say, oh, I have that skill, put it in your skills section. It's okay to list this. They want to know that what you can do, and it's easier to basically just bullet point skills than make an entire paragraph explaining that you know how to do this. So if you have memberships, say you're a member to a certain like educational group, society, things like that, put that in. Awards. Have you won any awards academically or in the community? Things like that. It shows a little bit more of who you are and what interests you have. Same with volunteer. Excuse me. And then references. Make sure that you ask your references to be a reference before you put them on your resume. And we'll go through in a few minutes as to the kind of people you want to ask to be references, but make sure they always know that you have chosen them to be a reference for you. Don't just surprise them with it. Okay, personal information. Your name should stand out. They should know who you are by being able to see your name. List only one phone number. If you're mainly on your cell phone, list your cell phone if that's the one they can get a hold of you on all the time. And again, like I said, professional email address. It's okay if it's boring. It's just for jobs. You can do the fun, exciting, quirky one with your friends, but keep it off your resume. Okay, your objective. Again, short and sweet. An example, seeking a position as an elementary school teacher. That's simple. You could say, growing skills acquired in, recent course completion. Things like that. There's different ways to do it depending on what job you're looking for. If you're looking for something broad and general, discuss, hey, wishing to grow, things like that. There's lots of different ways to do it. And again, our writing tutors can help. And you have to kind of tailor it for the different jobs you're looking for. But if you have something that's kind of general and broad when starting out, that's okay too. Let people know, hey, looking to improve skills, wanting to develop myself more. It's okay to say stuff like that. It lets people know that, yes, I have skills, but I'm also open to being taught more, to learning more, and to bettering myself. Now, they should be specific, not general. And again, this depends on what you're doing. If you're going for a specific career, be specific. If you're tailoring it for a specific job, say, hey, I am wanting this job because. But if it's kind of a general, like a job fair, make it a little bit more general. Try to get it to apply to the different positions you're going to, apply to. So it's okay to have your resume tailored to a specific job, as well as have one that you can just kind of give out at job fairs or general application processes. So it's okay to do that. You don't have to just stick with one. Um, Again, objectives for career fairs should be general or eliminated. Again, depending on what your goal is and what the career fair is about. If you're in nursing and you're going to a career fair at a hospital, it's okay. You're going to a citywide career fair that has everything from medical field to oil field to education to, things like that. Be more general or just take it off. That's okay. And try to keep it to a phrase or a sentence. Don't, add a huge paragraph. Again, short and sweet. Now, your education, you're like, oh, yay, other stuff. Okay, keep your most recent education first. If you just got your associate's degree, put that on there. That's awesome. You're proud of it. Don't put high school first and then the associate's degree. Put your most recent first. If you just got your GED, that's awesome. Put it on there. And, also put on, what school you went to, what years, dates you went there, what degree you have, if you either graduated or when you expect to graduate. Do you have a minor? Do you have any certificates? Put that stuff in there. Anything that you've done that kind of made you shine during your education, put that in there. If you said, hey, I worked on a group project where we tackled this kind of theory and concept, and that theory and concept applies to your job, put it in as something you learned in your education. Totally acceptable. This is where you shine. This is the part where you say, hey, in my education, I focused on these things. I, took a class in inspection or whatever. Let them know that specific. If you led a study group, put that in. It's totally fine to do. Again, list options, minors, and certificates. Okay, work history. Yay, more stuff. Okay, again, current or most recent job first. We want to know what you're doing now, not what you did, a couple years back. What are you doing now? Okay, job title first. We want to know what you're doing. We would like to know the employer's name and city. Who are they and where are they located? Bullets or paragraphs for job duties. This goes back to if you didn't sometimes it's easier to do bullets because if you're like, okay, I did these skills and it was more skills, put the bullet points for, hey, I did these skills. If you need to talk about leading a project or implementing something or, things like that, then do the paragraph a little more. But still keep it short and concise. But tell us what you did. If you say, hey, I led a team on such and such, or, I took responsibility for, I don't know, delivery, depending on what your job is, or even say, you're applying to a new thing and you did retail, which I've done. You can say, hey, for your people skills, you can say, hey, I learned to manage stressful situation involving general public. That looks great. Basically, you're saying I can deal with difficult people, but you say, hey, I can deal with the general populace. I can handle stressful situations. That's how you tell them what you can do in a way that they're like, oh, okay, this is more than just, hey, customer service. So think of different ways you can say, hey, this is what I did to still show who you are and what you've done without just, hey, boring bullet point. Um, Try to no more than 5 bullet points per job if you can. Again, you only have 1 page, so try to keep it concise. Prioritize the order for describing duties with the most impressive sounding ones first. You don't want to start with, I was responsible for changing light bulbs and end with, I became the general manager in a 3-month period of time. You want to put the general manager part first and probably just take the light bulbs off. But put the most impressive sounding, even if you don't think it's impressive or you're like, oh, this is kind of impressive, but I'm nervous. Put it out there. This is your time to shine. This is your time to brag pretty much on what you're able to do. Show them what you can do. Put it out there. So don't be afraid. Okay, references. Again, let your reference know that you have chosen them. Ask them to be, your reference. Have at least 3 people. Try not to ask family or friends. Consider employers, pastors, professors, scout leaders, people like that, people who know your work ethic, people who aren't family and friend related. Because if you, as an employer, if you get that, you're like, of course they're going to say nice things. Get people, who know your values and can honestly say, yes, they're a hard worker, and things like that. Plus, it looks better and it's not just your mom. And give them a copy of your updated resume. They need to know what they're talking about you. And if they didn't know that maybe you won a community award or, you volunteered at something, it'd be nice for them to know, because if the employer asks them about that and they have no idea, that's probably not going to look so good. So give them an updated resume, talk to them, let them know what types of jobs you're looking for and things like that. Now, other considerations. Never, ever include false information on your resume. Employers can and will check. And if they discover that you lied on your resume, a lot of times you will no longer be employed, or it just also looks really bad. So never lie on your resume. And when filling out an application, one thing you will learn, you can give places your resume, but sometimes they will say, hey, great, now fill out this application digitally. And you're thinking, but I just sent you my resume. Still fill out the application and don't just assume they're going to read the resume. Fill it out completely. Even if you have to retype what's in your resume onto the application, do it. Because if you're an employer and you get that and you see that, they just typed in that, they work at, Bob's Pizza Shack, and then they don't tell you for how long or when or where it's at or what their duties are, you're going, okay, if they're not willing to put effort into this, I'm gonna look at that. So make sure, even though it's irritating, fill out the online resume if it asks you to, and the whole application. Don't just assume that they'll look at your resume. Plus, it's also good practice for you to get used to talking about the things you do. And, maybe when filling one of these out, you'll be like, oh, this is a way better way to phrase this. And then you can update and adjust your resume from there. Now, you're thinking, oh, great, all this resume stuff. Now what? Okay, we have here at the LRC through Super Search, and I put a link here I'm not sure if it's working. Either way, I can get it to Vanessa and everyone so you guys can get it out to everybody. Plus, it's also on Super Search. We have the Learning Express library. Now, if you're an OC student, you can use this. It'll help you with careers, it'll help you with career testing, it'll help you with resumes. You can build a resume, you can build all this stuff, different templates, different examples, all sorts of things, and it'll save it. And it's a great resource that we have, totally free to you. But it's basically a way you can go in, it saves it, you use it however you need. You can explore different careers, different education you need for these careers, different skills you might need. So it's really a great way for you to get all the information you need, build your resume and say, okay, I'm looking at this job. What kind of things am I going to maybe need to adjust my resume for? What skills do I need to make sure I have? How do I highlight different things? So this is also a great resource that we have here at OC for students as far as resume and career stuff. So Learning Express Library, and again, I could make this available for a link to send out to everybody. Other places for resume templates is resumenow.com. Canva, it's an awesome thing. You can basically build posters and everything in resumes, all sorts of stuff in it. And it gives you different examples and different formats. So, you know, you can kind of get one that is tailor-made to you, but still looks professional. And then Nova Resume is another one that is good for basically building different templates. Now, are there any questions? And please don't hesitate to ask any question. And if someone's typing in the thing, I can't see it. So just throw the camera on and ask away.
Jamie, do students have to set up an appointment to stop by and get help with their resume?
No, they don't. Generally, we have writing tutors available here in the LRC and in the Writing Center when it is open. Our hours are on our website. But we can also do virtual. So say a student's like, hey, I need a writing tutor. I can't make it in today, blah, blah, blah. We have a little schedule tutoring button on the library website. You click that, you schedule it. You can get with Sophie and Matthew. You can get with Mariah. We have a whole bunch of different writing tutors that you can work with. So we have it to where basically whenever you need a writing tutor, we pretty much have one available. If not, we can get one quickly. And if there's either myself or Pat, the other librarian here, if we're available and you need help, let us know. We'd be more than happy to sit down with you and help you in whatever way you need. Any other questions?
All right. It looks like we might not have any more questions, but thank you so much, Jamie, for this awesome presentation. And it's beautiful, by the way. I loved that template you used, so that's awesome. I do want to remind those that are on this call that we have more career work events happening tomorrow and on Thursday. Tomorrow we will have interview skills with Lindsay Bryant at 12:30, and then the job fair will be happening on Thursday. We have 3 different sessions happening, one for health science, one for liberal arts and education, and one for business and industry. So keep an eye out for those happening these next 2 days. Thank you all for joining us today. Again, if you didn't get the DTS code, that's 3793. If you want to go ahead and enter your number, again, we're going to be drawing a winner for a prize. So if you can, please enter that DTS code so we can identify the students that have participated in today's session. All right. Any final questions before we conclude this session?
And feel free to stop by the LRC or email us, whatever. We're here.
Okay, so I think we're good. Thank you so much again, Jamie. And thank you everyone for joining us today.
Bye.